If, in fact, someone were deliberately hacking these machines, you could steal millions of votes and no one would know it. And that's why the methodology is problematic. Now, there's no evidence that happened, but you can't prove it didn't either. And you can't prove it won't next time. And that's why we have to have a paper trail. We've documented it. Any number of people have documented a machine in this county that recorded 11,000 extra votes for Bush. In that county, there was counting Kerry votes for Bush. People who touched Kerry's name would come up Bush, and they touched it again, and it would come up Bush, and they touched it a third time and finally got it right. And all kinds of things like this. One machine, when we say one machine, these are large machines, like half a county apparently. After it reached 3,000 votes total, every time you voted for Bush, it subtracted one instead of added one. When you pushed Kerry, it subtracted one instead of adding one. And all these instances were instances where they were caught. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been reported. They were caught, presumably corrected. The question, obviously, is how many instances were not caught that we don't know about? And what, if any, impact did that have on the election, if not for president, then for county commissioner or congressman or whatever? And it's clear that we have some of these new technologies, the electronic voting, replacing the chads and all that, which had other problems. But there are no paper trails. And we have all sorts of testimony before the election from electronics experts that, number one, we've seen a lot of what I'll call honest glitches where it just didn't work right, but also that these machines are hackable, that a dishonest employee of the vendor or a dishonest employee of a local board of elections or simply someone who knows electronics and has a computer at home could hack into these machines and put in a secret instruction to disregard every 20th Democratic vote or add 10% to the Kerry or to the Bush vote or whatever, and you might not ever know it. And we had these warnings before the election, and apparently they're correct. And we have all these questions now, and we're seeing instances of, so far as we know, honest glitches that we caught. But the question arises, how many didn't we catch, and how do you prevent that? Now, there's legislation pending, which I'm co-sponsoring, offered in the House by Rush Holt and the Senate by Hillary Clinton and others, that says that every electronic machine should have a paper trail, like an ATM machine gives you a receipt. You should, when you push the Kerry, let's say you vote for Kerry and A for Congress and B for the Senate, it should say Kerry, A, and B. You see that on the machine. It should also print a piece of paper, which you see, you look at the piece of paper, you say, okay, you then press submit, it cuts off the piece of paper, drops it into a box. So if anybody raises questions after the election, you can, in fact, count the paper. There was one county where on some local race or some referendum, they lost 4,500 votes. Machine hiccup, they lost it. 4,500 people didn't have their votes counted. And we don't know if that made a difference in that referendum or local race or whatever. But the system is inherently subject to that kind of thing. So we asked for an investigation. Congressman Conyers, who's the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, and Bob Wexler, Congressman from California, and I asked the Government Accountability Office, which used to be known as the Government Accounting Office, which is the nonpartisan investigative arm of Congress, to investigate. And we asked that they investigate the efficacy of voting machines and new technologies, how election officials responded to difficulties encountered, and what we can do in the future to improve our election systems. These companies did a tremendous sales job. After the 2000 election in Florida, where we had all those problems with the chads, and everybody said, get rid of these punch card machines.
Find a better way to do it.
Find a better way to do it. They had these products. These products weren't really quite ready, I don't think. I mean, we have all these professors and these computer experts telling us that the encryption algorithms aren't sufficient, that the protections aren't sufficient, they're proprietary data, so they're kept secret, so we don't really know. But they wanted to sell their machines, and they did a tremendous sales job.